I have a problem sometimes working with tools that I don't feel like they'll become part of me, or
Yes.
like I'll affect the way we interact and
Yes.
and how they function. There's something about worked steel that just has that warmer glow to it. And
Well, and I felt that way a lot about wood.
Mhm.
Like, look at a tree trunk, or torn between, I want the tree to stand, because I like the tree as an entity and what it does, the beauty of it. But then I can see the trunk and the limbs and say, inside that, in that crotch, or in that bowl, or that burl, there's going to be beautiful wood. So
Mhm.
someday, the first impression is to take that tree down and get to the wood. But it's like, no, it'll eventually get to the point where it's available. So just go find the ones that are available. So I like to go to the Iowa City's dump pile and find wood there, because that stuff somebody else has cut down. It's to the end of its life, or it's in the way, or whatever the reason was. The city felt that it was time to go, and you can find some real treasures there. So that just then it led me to the park and the world of interpretation, which was something I hadn't really thought about.
what would you say drove that interest in the artistic aspect of the craft? What is it that just what draws your need into that?
If I knew that question, if I knew that answer, I don't know. My fiance and I are currently debating that. What drives an artist? Why do you feel? Why does a person feel justified in being an artist? In essence, what gives you the right to be an artist? I mean, literally, why?
Mm-hmm.
Out of all people in the world, there's what, 360 million people in the United States at the moment? Probably something like 4.5 billion in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then what gives me the right to say, I want to be an artist? And so, I mean, I have the right to have my own opinions and my thoughts and all those other things, and everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start thinking of yourself as an artist, you start thinking that it goes beyond that. It goes into a more public realm where it's like, hey, you look at what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why? Why should
Even the act of becoming an artist
Yeah.
is saying, well, I could be a plumber or a doctor or a lawyer, but
Yeah.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah. And that's what I walked away from for so many years. Our culture, society, our economics do not favor artists at all. If they get really famous, sure, that's okay. But I mean, what was it? Was it Picasso just last week? World record price of $106 million.
How I miss that.
He's not going to see that money. Van Gogh gets, an original Van Gogh brings millions of dollars. He never saw that.
Yeah.
He died poor. And so it becomes only important. Well, not really. There are some artists that are making a decent living. I guess Warhol.
Mm-hmm.
There's some debate whether or not he's an artist or what exactly was Andy Warhol. So some people do make it in the big, and I'm not saying that I want to be big at it. I'd rather not. I'd rather be just, but have some sort of little niche. But ultimately, I started drawing when I was 4, 5, and I was pretty good at it. But kind of walked away from it, and now decided 50 some odd years later to go back to it. Better late than never.
Coming full circle. There's something about, I think, my friend last night was talking about how she wished she had become a nurse earlier on. She's in her 30s now, and she wished she'd started off at that point. But she didn't have the passion then. She didn't have what was necessary to...
We come to these things in time,
Mm-hmm.
in our own time. That's one of the toughest things to realize, I think. Time is something that we think of as a linear thing, because you came here at a point, and it happens to be, I'm almost halfway through my shift right now, and my shift started at one point and will end at another point, and this day will end. We fail miserably to realize that we're passing through roughly the same point we did last year in the orbit. We've just circled right around again. And that if you leave this planet and go someplace else, the time that we think of, we take for granted here, doesn't apply there. Who cares how long a day is? What is an hour? 350,000 miles from here. Doesn't mean anything. 1,000,000 miles from here. There's no such thing as an hour. It just is. So it's linear, but it's non-linear. It's cyclical. And we reach these points when it's appropriate. We may regret some things, but that's I suppose part of the human condition, I guess.
Sounds good to me.
I suppose I don't know why it seems easier to regret than to celebrate. It seems easier to be angry or pissed than to be happy or to be glad that you reached a certain point. I don't know why that is in our nature, but it seems that we can regret that we didn't reach a certain point earlier, but yet at the same time it's like, but we're here now, so celebrate where you are now, and then keep going.